Hey, I'm Dan from Bastille, and I'm here for an interview with Europe too.
Hi Dan, thanks for this introduction. You're
Well,
saving my work.
I'm coming for your job, man. I'm coming for your job.
I think you could definitely. Why not? Dan, do you remember 19th of March 2014? That was the day when you were first time in Prague in Sasazo. You remember this gig?
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. It was my first time ever in Prague, so I was so excited to be there.
Yeah, I was there actually, and it was a surprise for me. Yeah, of course. It was a big surprise for me when I've heard that you guys gonna be in Sasazu, because when you Google it, what comes out first is that it's like a luxurious restaurant, and part of it is very, very small and intimate venue that used to be, and it's still used for dance parties and stuff. And then I've heard hey, Bastille is coming here. And I remember that the show had had awesome reviews. And I at the time I took my American girlfriend. It was actually it was a friend, but a girl. Okay. I took her there and she loved it. And she told me hey, this band has such a good sound, because it was a really good sounding gig there, but we were surprised that it was there. So do you somehow have specific venues that you select, like the smaller ones? Because I know that the latest tour is focused like this, right? On more intimate things. Is it like this?
Yeah, I think we're sort of lucky to have been able to play big festivals and arenas and smaller venues as well. I think I'm sorry, I just had too much coffee.
Me too. I actually had one right before.
My head just spun right out.
Keep going.
It's basically we put together this show for Give Me the Future, and and I think we're meant to, we did the UK leg at the beginning of the year, then we went around America, and we've done a summer of festivals, and we've been lucky enough to go to South America and South Korea and all these different places.
Yeah.
We're just really excited for this European run, I think. Getting to play slightly more intimate rooms and bring this kind of hopefully quite trippy, transportive show into rooms with real people, because we made this album during lockdown. And it was about using technology to connect with people, and for better or for worse, but ultimately we made it because we wanted it to make us dance, and we wanted to sort of have some form of escapism. So getting to play it in real rooms with real people,
and a trippy atmosphere. That's a good thing. Actually, on 23rd this month you will be here in Prague. Kind of a bigger venue. It's like a small hockey hall, or not just a hockey hall. They have all bunch of concerts there, but it's gonna be bigger than Sasazu. And then you go into Milan to Alcatraz, and that's a trippy club. That's for sure. That's
I think because with our music, it sort of started off on a laptop in my bedroom, so it's always been using quite small things to try and imagine a bigger situation. And it's always been about trying to create these stories and take people somewhere. And this album is no different to that. But at the same time, we started playing in pubs and playing tiny little bars and stuff. So we've been lucky enough, like I said, to kind of done it all.
I
think now the thing for us is this will be like our fourth time, I guess, of getting to tour quite a lot. And so to keep it interesting for us and hopefully fans that will come along is to try and do something really different each time. So it's nice to be at a point where we can, we've made this Give Me the Future album, and it, sonically it kind of exists in its own world, and visually we want it to exist as well. So I love putting a tour together and thinking of it almost as like an extension of the album,
Although then you had a lot of caffeine or coffee, as you said, you still, maybe, and you know what? Maybe I think the coffee is the answer, because you guys, actually, I had this question prepared for all of you guys, because I saw pictures of you, and you still look quite the same after 8 years, which is kind of fine. So is it the coffee, or what you eat, organic food, or you train, or what do you do? Because you look still as young as then, because you guys were in our studio, by the way, in Europe too. Well, not you individually, but your bandmates were there, you know.
Yeah,
and you all look still the same. So how you do it, man?
Good. I don't feel. The last 10 years feels like a very long time. it
is.
I don't know. I guess we're potentially not that good at looking after ourselves. I think. Yeah. We like to have a good time on tour. But yeah, I guess I don't know. Yeah, I personally go between being really healthy just for like a few days, and then really unhealthy for a few days. So I guess when I'm being boring, I love like going running and eating my vegetables, so that I can earn the weekends where I get no sleep and I drink a lot and eat all of the burgers. I think we're still surprised that we're allowed to keep doing this. You know, we're particularly coming out the other side of lockdowns and things like that. We missed touring a lot, but it was also really healthy to have a break, because we've not ever really stopped. It's nice to be back. It's nice to be back on the road. The idea of getting back on a bus all together again is quite fun. And this tour as well. This is like this is kind of the last tour that we're going to do for a while. So I think we're all going into it over the next few weeks. I'm just really excited, really up for it, and hopefully we just want to put on a really great show for the people that
Well, yeah, you know, that was my question as well, because like during the lockdown, you were doing some like a podcast about movies. Which was very interesting. And
I think everyone was looking for ways to distract themselves, weren't they? I think.
But you know, anyway, I was like, I had this question prepared or in my mind, you know. I wanted to ask all of you guys, you know, like if you got some like side hustles, things that you like to do, you know, not really about money, you know, but like what are your other interests than the music, you know, like what you do in the free time, if there is any, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess loads. I'd say our first main hobby is going to the pub.
Great.
But yeah, I mean, like everyone's into really different stuff. Like Will, our bass player, he's learned about 6 or 7 languages. He speaks Arabic and Hebrew and French.
That's cool.
And German and Spanish and like a whole load of different languages.
Good addition, right, to the band.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. He also learned how to fly a plane. He's an amazing artist as well. You know, Kyle does voiceovers for video games, and you know, he makes a lot of music, but he also loves Dungeons and Dragons and all these different things. Like
Woody, there we go. That's the material I was looking for.
Woody loves playing football, but he's not very good at it. But he loves playing a lot, and he's obsessed with his team, Plymouth Argyle. And I don't know what about me. I'm a real film geek. I sort of like trying to make films on the side as well, which is quite fun.
Okay.
And I guess just like art. I'm just obsessed with like going to gigs and film and art galleries and music and all of that stuff. That's what gets me excited. So that, and writing songs for other people, hanging out with my friends and cycling around London and doing fun stuff. You know, all the usual stuff. But we've all got our side hustles.
That's cool.
I guess we just feel so fortunate to still be able to, you know, to be in a band and to tour and to do that as well. Like, you know, things have changed a lot since the pandemic.
I know, and it was a hard time.
Touring is hard.
You
know, a lot of people really, you know, don't have very much money at the moment. You know, people are struggling. So to still get to do this is amazing.
You know what? I remember I saw an interview with you on BBC, and you said that you are like pretty like a pessimistic person. You said it on BBC in the morning. I was like, wow, that's a courageous guy. But you know, we're running out of time, so maybe this would be like a last thing that I would like to know from you. You know, all the you know, the lyrics in your songs, you know, it's pretty philosophical. You guys clearly think about the world and its issues, you know, like all this bad blood, wild world, doom days, and ultimately the future. you think about what's going on, right? On this planet, socially and stuff. So I was like, and even Bastille, the name itself, like what's all behind of it. So since you are like a pessimistic person, as you call yourself, like, how do you see the future, by the way?
Fuck knows. I've got no idea. It's so hard to know, isn't it? I mean, and I'm kind of examining that in the album. We're looking, it can seem so bleak. You turn the news, you read a newspaper. Politically, the world is so divided. Obviously, there's like the climate crisis, which is, a huge obstacle. There's so much division in the world, and like literally we're watching a war playing out, and I don't know. It's just it can be very, very, very hard to be optimistic.
Yeah.
And as a pessimistic person, that plays very much into the narratives in my head. But
of course,
album, I was keen to sort of not be too dark and not be too pessimistic, because I think, when you watch the news or when you zoom out and look at the state of the world, like, it can be very confusing and it can be really hard to navigate. But also, you don't want to forget what's amazing. You don't want to forget people like doing amazing things, being activists,
exactly,
writing incredible books and incredible articles and doing like positive things. So I think it's just about balance, isn't it? I think it's about trying to engage with the negative things and be useful, across, but also trying to find solace. And if that's playing Dungeons and Dragons and that makes you happy, or if it's like just being with your family, or out on a protest march, or like whatever, like finding those things where you feel, however big or small they are, so much fucking dark shit in the world that like we'd all go mad if we thought about it all the time.
Okay, Dan. Okay.
Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, but thank you for your time. It's a pleasure. I think our listeners will be delighted from the things we talked about. So keep on drinking coffee, and I'll see you on the gig. We cannot wait. It's going to be great, man. So it's been great to talk to you. Okay, guys. See you later.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Bye.